Let me go, says Morgan Gibbs-White to Forest. Can't believe anyone would say that. Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Afternoon, everybody. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to your latest Forest transfer news. Coming up, I'll let you know about the latest in this boring, annoying saga that is the snake Morgan Gibbs-White. Get time, I'll give you some transfer news as well on Bakayoko. Marinakis has gone legal with Spurs. So if you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed as well if you are new here, and keep those comments flying in. I've been enjoying reading them, especially the salty Spurs fans' comments. They're hilarious. But let's jump into the news and kick it off with, look at him. He's back at the training ground. Morgan Gibbs-White arrives at Forest's training ground dressed in white and blue. A lot of people looking into that. Is that just coincidental? Is that on purpose, or is that just like him being silly? But Morgan Gibbs-White has come back, which actually is quite interesting, because a lot of my Spurs mates were telling me that Morgan Gibbs-White was in London, that he'd done his medical, and he's just sitting there outside, the gates of the Tottenham training centre, waiting for the green light to enter. Well, that clearly doesn't seem to be the case. Now, am I disputing he's done his medical and what have you? I don't really care, is the honest answer. I just want this saga done and dusted. Now, reports have come out to suggest that Morgan Gibbs-White will not do a Pierre Van Hooijdonk. He won't go on strike. He won't kick up a fuss. He's accepting of the fact that currently he is still contracted to Forest, therefore must conduct out his obligations. So it's a bloody annoying fly. So, look, does that make him a good person or a bad person? I don't really care, man. All I know is we need to stop having this whole thumping the chest, kissing the badge thing with players, because when was the last player that you actually really believed would die for the badge, would do this and the other? Maybe some of you say Ryan Yates, but Real Madrid come in for him tomorrow. Not that I can see that. Would he stay at Forest because he loves the badge? And I don't blame any of them, by the way. This is their job. This is their career. This is what they think, in their opinion, is going to advance them going forward. So be it. I just care if they go to Spurs or United from the teams in the Premier League. So anyway, so that's Morgan Gibbs-White. He's back and he's reporting for duty. It'll be interesting to see how he's met. Do you think he's going to get one of those Nuno hugs from Nuno, or is there going to be a discussion? Now, question for the Forest fans watching this. Should he be kind of expelled out to the under-21s team? Is it okay for him just to rock up after the storm he's kicked off in the last few days and just say, bloody fly, and just say, hi, I'm back. Yeah, I'm here until you guys let me go. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Now, from the other stance of it, from Marinakis' point of view, Forest have now put their legal papers, for want of a better phrase, in for review. And Forest are basically well within their rights to do this, irrespective of what all the Spurs fans think. I'm going to kill this damn fly, I swear to God. Anyway, so Forest put their paperwork in. Now, Spurs fans are like, why don't you just let him go, man? We just met your 60 million release clause on him. That's not the point. The point is the fact that, how did you obtain that information? And I think Spurs fans are reading too much into this, because this does not mean that Forest is saying, you know what, we're not letting this through. Forest is just asking the question, how did you come to receive that information? If there's been misdealings from the Spurs side, then we want it looked at. Now, how does this end up? I think it plays out in one of 2 or 3 scenarios. Firstly, Forest will turn to Spurs and be like, okay, you have approached him illegally. But with all that said, the player wants to go, therefore he can't come back. It's kind of done and dusted. We will accept the 60 million cash up front. That could be one option, or whatever the terms are on that release clause. That's option number 1. Option number 2 is Marinakis says to Levy, you know what? This says 60 million up front. You are a tight ass. You don't want to pay 60 million up front. We're going to take this to 65 to 70 million and we'll do a 3-year payment plan, just like we did with Jono. That's the other option. That's probably the option I think that Levy would probably prefer as well. And Forest would get a bit of extra cash. They can then take that kind of IOU to the bank and leverage that against the low interest loan and say, like, here we've got 65, 70 million incoming, here's 30 million already paid up front. Can we get another 30 or 40 million, whatever it is, from the bank? Which is exactly what they did with the Brennan Johnson money. And that's how we ended up getting Sangare. The third option is that Marinakis says, Spurs, you have, and this is assuming that Spurs have, been dirty, which wouldn't surprise me. Marinakis says, you have broken the rules. We are not sanctioning a release of Gibbs-White. He will now have to sign a new contract with Forest, or they will have discussions on signing a new contract. We will remove the release fee clause, or we will increase it to 75 or whatever it is. And if you want him, you now have to pay that money. So those are the three main options. There's the nuclear option as well, which we've discussed, which would be a case of Spurs have get put in front of the Premier League, could end up in transfer bans and everything. I'd be very, very surprised to see all of that. That's where we are on this whole thing. I want to know your guys' opinion on it. I just want him gone, man. It's like, just get out of here. Let's get a better player, a player who can actually shoot, a player who can actually hit the target, a player who doesn't do spinneroonies like he's Booker T, and a player that doesn't have to pass with the outside of his boot every time. Now, that doesn't mean he's a crap player. I get that. But I think there is plenty better for better value than Morgan Gibbs-White. And speaking of which, that brings us on to Bakayoko. Now, there are plenty of different reports coming out, some conflicting each other, some not so much. It was reported by Pletty earlier on that Leverkusen were the front runners in the whole Bakayoko deal, that they were going to be the ones who sign him. Forest was still interested, and Leipzig as well. There's other reports from Rudy who says, you know what, Leipzig are favourites, but Forest are confident that they will get this deal done. I don't know if I share their confidence. And Forest are still serious contenders in the Bakayoko deal. And then there's been another latest update from Romano who says Leipzig now are confident to get Johan Bakayoko. Deal done this week is what they believe is going to happen. Negotiations advancing on both player and club side with PSV for the winger to join the Leipzig project. Bayern are currently far away from any agreement, and the same with Forest as well. So there's all kinds of conflicting reports on this. Now, where do I think the truth lies? As always, somewhere in the middle. I think that if Leipzig are in the front running for this, then I think Forest have a very good chance, because I believe, if I remember rightly, Leipzig messed up. I don't even think they've got European football next season. So I think Forest as a pulling entity has more pull than, say, Leipzig. If Leverkusen are the front runners, as earlier reports today were suggesting, then Forest have, an uphill battle to run. But either way, Forest should move heaven and earth to get Bakayoko, because, by the way, this isn't the Gibbs-White replacement. This would be the Elanga replacement. He is good enough and has the potential, in my opinion, to be better than Elanga. Yes, it may take him 6 months or whatever to settle down, get used to the Premier League and what have you. But at £20 million, this is an absolute snip of a deal, and a deal that Forest should move heaven and earth to try and get done. Because, like I said, we can offer Europa League football, we can offer Premier League, and we can offer money as well. So this is one that I feel Forest can do. Whether or not we do it is a whole different question. But I think Forest are moving hard because they have a little egg on their face, losing Elanga and potentially Gibbs-White in a week. So we need a positive, good news story to get this one done. Now, there are other reports to talk about the Makati stuff, that he's already out at Frankfurt. He's doing a stadium tour there, that they're looking to agree certain things. I think Romano has just recently mentioned this. He says, understand, James McAtee is now in Frankfurt to visit Eintracht as a potential new club. McAtee assessing his options ahead of a move away from Manchester City this summer, and Frankfurt are one of those options. No mention there of Forest as well, but we do know Forest hold a massive interest in James McAtee this summer, and we'll see if that gets done. But right now, honestly, guys, there's nothing concrete to give you on these transfers. I'm hoping for a bomber to come soon, and obviously we'll bring it to you as soon as it's available. But patience is a virtue, as they say. And I'm seriously starting to run out of it. What about you guys? Get your comments in below. Make sure you've hit that like. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll see you on the next video, keeping you up to date with all the crazy stuff going on at Forest. Come on, you Reds.